So after a long and exhausting day, I had to unexpectedly work an extra half an hour of overtime. I didn't sleep last night, but I'm sitting in my car right now after my gym workout. And I'm so proud of myself because I didn't want to come to the gym. Like I didn't want to work out, but a part of me did. And I also recognized that really listening to my higher self, my best self, means acknowledging my feelings, but also not letting them hijack my actions. A part of me was exhausted, felt like I did enough today. I didn't sleep last night. I didn't want to come to the gym today. And then I thought about skipping it. And I imagined what that was like. And just going home and not really making great use of my time when I could be working out and bettering my health. So I drove to the gym, and I'm definitely of the mindset that if driving to the gym, I'm going in because I'm cheap and I don't like to waste gas. So I'm actually in the parking lot of the gym right now. And what I had to recognize is that the part of myself that committed to working out 3 days a week is my inner strategist. It's the part of myself that knows that I need this workout to keep me motivated, keep my energy high, keep my brain clear, keep my body free of pain, give me energy, lift my mood. Like the return on investment for exercise is phenomenal. But this isn't just about exercise. This is about recognizing that sometimes there's things we don't want to do, but if we recognize the long term benefit and make a real commitment, then we can follow through. So I didn't just get to this place. I hadn't worked out for 6 months. I started with 2 days a week. And so I'm just going to share a little bit about what my current strategies are to get me to the gym 3 days a week. The biggest one is recognizing the commitment I made to myself. I made a commitment because of the amazing return on investment. And it's a big deal for me right now to keep a commitment to myself. There are a lot of things I want to accomplish. And if I let myself off the hook every time I don't feel like it, none of it's happening. And yeah, you want to acknowledge your feelings. You want to recognize and and admit when you're not feeling up to it. But you can't let that stop you over and over and over again. Maybe there's days when I listen to that and I go light at the gym or I skip a particular day, but ultimately I have a commitment to my health, to my growth, to being the best version of me that I can. And that requires that I follow through on my commitment. So, one of my strategies is I have a rule of three. In order to work out 3 days a week, I can't go more than 3 days in a row without working out. I can't go 3 days in a row without working out. Otherwise, it gets hard to get the 3 days in unless I'm going to exercise every day for, a few days in a row, the 3 days in a row, which I don't love to do, mostly because my schedule doesn't allow it. So I came up with this rule of three. And for me, that means I need to get a workout in really early on the week. So Monday, Tuesday. Then I can do a midweek, Wednesday, Thursday. And then I got the weekend to do another workout. So my goal is to not go 3 days without a workout. And that helps make it possible for me to work out 3 days a week. The other thing I do is just show up. Like, even if it's going to be a light workout, even if I'm only 20 minutes, which hasn't happened yet, because I'm a very economical person with my time and my energy. If I'm going to make the effort to come to the gym, I'm going to do at least 30 minutes, usually 45. My goal is an hour to an hour and 20 minutes. So I just show up. I allow myself the space to just show up. But on the days when I'm not feeling it, when there's a part of me that is exhausted and wants to go home and didn't sleep last night, I tell myself, okay, just show up. And so today I did 45 minutes, but it was a great 45 minutes. I broke a nice sweat that helped relieve my stress from the day, and I showed up. And I get to mark that one on the calendar, tick that off. The other thing that I do is I give myself a pep talk. And today I did it driving on the way here, but last week I had to do it when I pulled up because I was so exhausted. I did not want to work out. And I pulled up and I was just like, man, how do I make myself get in there? And I literally had to give myself an out loud talking to myself pep talk. And I was just like, I need this. Going, getting my workout in is what makes it possible for me to do all the other things I want to do. All the things that I am concerned about, like keeping my mood and my energy high, keeping my cognitive function sharp. Exercise does all of that. And all I got to do is get in there. And so that's like the pep talk that I have given myself on numerous occasions. And today, driving to the gym, I was tired and I felt like I worked overtime when I didn't plan on it. So I wanted to just give myself the day off. But today's pep talk was about how am I going to feel if I don't do it? Because I knew I really wanted it. Like I had been stressed. So it felt so good to break a nice hard sweat and release the stress. So my pep talk is different on different days. It depends where my head is at, what it is I need. I'm not afraid to give myself an out loud pep talk to get myself inside the gym. And the last thing I do is I externalize the win. I celebrate when I go to the gym, not with food, but by praising myself. Like I, again, will out loud tell myself, you did a great job. I know you didn't want to go, but look how you showed up for yourself. That was awesome. And then I make sure to tell somebody, usually my partner, not looking for praise from him, but just to acknowledge out loud what I did. Like I'll tell him, like, I really didn't want to go to the gym today, but I did it. And I showed up and I'm so proud of myself. And I'm just celebrating myself to him. Just gives me another person to celebrate myself to. But it's so important that we praise ourselves and celebrate our wins, because especially when we're doing hard things, because I feel like we don't give ourselves enough credit for what we do. Life is not always easy, as we know. And celebrate. Sometimes when you do something that seems like it should be simple, it should be easy, but it doesn't feel like it is, celebrate it. Celebrate the fact that you did it and you followed through, because you're worth it and you deserve it. And who else is going to celebrate you if you don't do it yourself? And one of the reasons I've been so committed to exercise and taking care of myself is because it's one of those things that could easily fall by the wayside. And we all know it. Because there's so many other important things to do. But what's more important than your health? But anyway, but one of the thoughts that goes through my mind around exercise and other things that I want to do in my life is how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I really want to show up for myself and helps other women to own their soul's calling, to align with what their soul really needs. And I can only do that if I'm doing it for myself. If I'm willing to do hard things when I don't feel like it, because so much of that is involved in building a business, taking care of your health, really trying to get through life in the most optimal way. Love yourself enough to keep your promises to yourself, even when it's inconvenient. Self-trust is a skill, and it builds the muscle of ownership over your life, over your decisions, over how you choose to be in the world. And every time I get into that gym, I'm putting a deposit in my self-trust bank account. And I want my self-trust bank account to be full for the things that I want to do, that I aspire to do in my life. And it can't happen unless I can actually trust myself to follow through on things that are uncomfortable, challenging, and that I'm not in the mood to do at times. When you're realigning your life and making moves in new directions, you need that self-trust bank account to be full. If you only show up when you feel 100%, you're never going to achieve anything, because who feels 100% all the time? We can't wait to feel 100%. We can't wait to feel ready to act. The idea is to make the commitment. And if it's something that's truly important to you, keep showing up. And that's how you build the self-trust to know that you can build something worthwhile, that you can actually realign your life to the values that really matter to you. And this isn't about self-abuse, it's about self-integrity. Because if I can't show up to the gym 3 days a week, for me, like, how can I trust myself to build anything sustainable? So this is just one of the training grounds for building my self-trust muscle. So I want to hear from you. What is the one negotiable that you stuck to this week, that you showed up for yourself for, even when you're exhausted, even when you didn't feel like it? Let's talk about how you negotiate with yourself and how you stay on track, even when you're not feeling it.